Welcome to our latest vlog. I'm Patricia Garcia, owner and financial advisor here at Your Vision Financial Solutions. And today I'm joined with Jade Fitzgerald, buyer's advocate from Ideal Buyers Agency. Jade and I share common interests when it comes to supporting our clients through important milestones in their lives. For us, we work closely with our clients through many big life events, including planning for retirement. And I know that Jade supports her clients with some of these big decisions as well when it comes to finding the right property that will work for them in whatever stage of their lives that they're at. Thanks so much, Jade, for being here today and having a chat to us. Before we kick off with some questions, did you want to introduce yourself and your business, please?
Hi, Patricia. Thanks for having me along today. So I'm Jade, and a few years ago, I started my own company, Ideal Buyers Agency, where I generally just assist people in the complexities of home buying, whether it be downsizing, investments, or just looking for your forever home. It's quite a stressful and arduous task, or can be. So for me, I love it, and I look to sort of take out the stressfulness and the complexities of it for my clients and make it a bit more of an enjoyable experience, which it should be. The market's definitely quite fierce out there at the moment, so that's where I come along and represent my clients out in the marketplace.
Thanks, Jade. And as you know, today we thought we'd focus on pre-retirees and the big decisions around downsizing. So quite often our clients, when they go through pre-retirement into retirement, the empty nesters, they're looking to enjoy a little more of life and not have to worry about mowing the lawns and the extra large rooms to clean. They might also be looking to free up some cash so they can enjoy more overseas trips and ticking off some of those bucket list items. So there's a number of things that a financial planner can help when understanding the financial implications of downsizing and eligibility for government benefits and tax implications, and the list goes on. But today we'd want to chat to you about the value of using a buyer's agent when it comes to downsizing.
Yeah, so I guess more than anything, it's my job is to sort of help people focus on what's important to them in a move. When you are downsizing, there's lots of things that you need to consider, and I have helped quite a few now where you are looking for things like no step-up bathrooms, single level living, close amenities like shops and, those sorts of things around where you are living. I generally tend to find that there's a lot of people who have been living in quite large properties. And yeah, you're right. You've already mentioned things like mowing lawns, and some people even have like pools and tennis courts and all sorts of things going on that generally aren't really used anymore unless the whole family's coming over. And there can be a bit of pressure from family as well to keep the family home. So it's also sort of being there as a support for those that want to downsize and give them the tools to be able to work through those things with family as well. It's a really personal experience to help someone find a new property and go through that process. So I generally like to become quite involved in the whole process, and more than anything, I'm there to hold the hand of my clients as they go forward. A lot of times there's people who want to buy things because they look good or they think that that's where they want to live. But I've also had quite a great experience of my own personally helping aging people going into their future and what it looks like. And I think the more that you can future-proof yourself and your life moving forward, the more you maintain your own independence. So for me, that's a really important thing when we're looking at downsizing and we're looking at properties. We cover off a lot of different points throughout the process, really.
Yeah, it can be a really daunting experience for people going through that process. A lot of the times they haven't bought or sold a home maybe for 20 years, 30
up to
years
30
or 40 years.
More, exactly. And, the kids have been raised and there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of memories, there's all those sorts of things tied up. But the reality is that a lot of my clients, they've worked really hard, they've been successful, they've raised their families, and now it's their time to shine and go into a property or a place where they can actually kick back and enjoy more and not worry about whether the hedge needs to be trimmed or the lawns need to be mowed, and sometimes even just the garbage bins being put out. Like it can be an arduous task as you move forward. And I think, there's some real opportunity at the moment for people to seriously consider what is going to give them their best quality of life, not just for now, but the next 5, 10, 15 years. Got to remember, a lot of people who are sort of heading into retirement, they might still have a couple of years of work left in them. So I make sure that there's whatever we're buying, it kind of caters for whatever that lifestyle looks for. And if that means that needs to have an office and all those sorts of things, then you make sure that that happens. Does it need to have the extra 5th bedroom anymore? That's the main question.
That's right. And we've seen a lot of our clients downsizing recently, and it was quite stressful. And I feel like they would have really benefited from using a buyer's agent to help them with that process, to take the emotion out of it, but also to deal with all the complexities around finding the right property and the time that it takes and the stress that's involved. But one of the big reasons that they do it is, they've lived through the property boom, and it might free up a lot of money that might give them more choices in the future. So that's really exciting. Now, Jade, what are the factors that you think that clients need to consider when downsizing and deciding the size of the property, the type of the property? What are the factors that they should consider?
Look, I think, I've probably already mentioned quite a few of them, but I think definitely it needs to be, what does your future look like in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And it is about future proofing. I can't stress it enough. Like between now and the next 20 years or, 10, 15 years of people's lives, you want it to be an enjoyable, easy, stress-free kind of style of living. And yes, it does include things like stairs. It does include things like where is it proximity wise to family and friends. There's no point in downsizing and going and moving your entire life to a new area if you aren't going to be still connected to where you need to be connected. So I think, there's storage needs and personal space and all those sorts of things that still need to be covered off. I spend a lot of time going through, and it is kind of like a bit of an interview process to start off with, sort of really getting to know my clients and what ticks the boxes. And, do you have a dog? Do you need an outdoor space? Do you need an outdoor space within a building complex if we're moving into a apartment, or those sorts of things? So, is it one car? Is it 2 cars? There's so many things and factors to sort of look at. But for me, I think more than anything, it's actually the property itself and being able to future-proof yourself for independent living for as long as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Most people want to stay in their homes for as long as possible, and hopefully into the future, if needed, get home care rather than have to move into an aged care facility. So I think that's really important.
Exactly.
Jade, can you take us through your process? So if someone wanted to engage your services, what should they expect and how do you work with them?
Yeah, sure. So, initially, I think it's really important that you have a really close relationship with your buyer's agent. As I've mentioned, it's a very personal, very connected job that you're sort of doing for someone. I look at property and I work in property 24/7. This is what I do full time. So the expectation for people out there to even have a clue as to what's happening in the market on a daily basis, or being able to keep up with the Joneses, with all of the different offers and agents and everything that's out there. So initially I have a really good in-depth, and it is an interview process. I think my clients need to get to know me and my style and a bit of like who I'm about and what I've been successful in doing. But in the same token, I need to interview them as well. We need to see if we click and we gel. I generally like to look at this process as being, it's an exciting thing. You don't get to buy houses very often. Well, I do. I get to do it all the time. But, in your day-to-day life, most people will buy, if they're lucky, 1 or 2 properties. we do have a couple of, savvy investors out there now who may have bought some investment properties for sure. But as far as your permanent place of residence is considered, it's a really important thing that we get all of those boxes and tick all of those things. And a lot of the times I will find that people have these, like, all these things that they want to have ticked off. And the reality is that most of the time we can't tick off every single box every single time. And it's my job to hold hands and to guide, I guess, to the right outcome in the end, and then do all the searching, all the researching. And then I go to my clients after I've done all of that process, and I only present them with properties that I think is going to float their boat. They then make a decision whether they want me to move forward, and we kind of go from there. So it's a very joint process, but I do all the boring stuff beginning, basically.
Yeah.
And I only really present them with, like, options that I think would work for them and that have ticked enough of their boxes, essentially.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. Buying a house is really exciting, but the hard part is what you do. So it's fantastic that
then
you can
comes
do
the
that.
negotiations. Yeah. And, agents at the moment, you really want a really great agent when you're selling a house, 100%. And you see the advertising and the signs everywhere, Team Scott, Team Sam. And they do. They work in packs. They are there for the seller. And when you're selling, that is 100% what you want and what you need. But when you're buying, I think you get caught up and you get lost in that a little bit, and you think the agents are helping you out and doing the right thing for you, but really they're working for the seller, and you can never really forget that throughout the process.
Yeah, definitely. And there's obviously a lot of financial considerations when you should seek to see a financial advisor like us to help you with those big decisions. And that, it's around Centrelink benefits and exemption. So your principal place of residence, the sale proceeds are usually exempt for about 24 months if you intend to use those proceeds to purchase another property. And then there's also downsizer contributions and eligibility criteria for that, which is usually someone over the age of 55 and $300,000 each if they meet all the other criteria requirements. But it's a complex area, so definitely make sure you seek financial advice. And today is general advice only. Now, Jade, before we wrap up, can you give us a little bit of a feel for what the real estate market is up to at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So I'm sure everyone's watching the news closely, and everyone notices and knows that the interest rates have been rising. We'll see how tomorrow goes, if another rate rise or not. But at the moment, we don't have enough stock on the market. So essentially, people aren't really putting their houses on the market. We've got more buyers than we do sellers. So really, if people wanted to jump into the market and take advantage of it right now, you will earn top dollar. Where everyone's always ever asking, have we hit the bottom of the market? Have we hit the top of the market? No one really knows. None of us have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know is right now, we do not have enough houses to be able to buy. There are a million opportunities out there for people to even, I think it's worthwhile just picking up the phone and having a chat to some of your local agents. Yes, they are going to drive you crazy because they want to sell your house. But there's no harm in people reaching out, finding out what your house is worth, and then being able to have a chat with you and then have a look at what your financial situation is and what works out best. At the moment, I think there's still a lot of guessing that goes on. People are a little bit scared to put their houses on the market because then they don't know if they've got somewhere else to buy. And so there's sort of a bit of a juggling act and a bit of a game going on there. I think the spring selling season is going to be very, very fierce, and there'll be a lot that'll hit the market. So honestly, I think now is probably a really great time to be looking to sell and to still be sort of in the top of the market area there for it. In saying that, I don't think it'll drop much anyway. We have way more buyers than we have properties for sale.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jade. If people want to find you, where should they reach you?
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll have my contact details somewhere there, but feel free to Google Ideal Buyers Agency, or just, I guess, even pick up the phone to you guys and ask for my number. I'm happy to have a free, no obligation chat to people as well. If anyone's looking at, in the need of a buyer's agent, I'm happy to give any advice or have a chat about that as well.
Thanks, Jade. I know that like us, you work with all types of clients, not just retirees, at different stages of their lives. So be sure to include all your social handles and website details in the notes. Just wrapping up and letting everyone know that there's no financial advice today. It's all general advice, and make sure you contact professional advisors around any questions from what you heard today. Thank you again, and thanks to everyone
Patricia.
for watching. If you've got any questions, be sure to reach out in the comments. Thank you.
Thanks.